Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. Alright, let's check it out. Let's see what I got for you right now. If you like those British classics that a lot of people desire to have, check. If you like those cars that were rugged but luxurious at the same time, double check. And do you like those prohibited cars by certain parts of the world, but they were still popular, or at least trying to be, a triple check. Now let's give it a proper presentation. What I got for you right now, it's a 143 scale 1970 Range Rover. Now when I said those prohibited cars back in the days, what you might think that I said? I'll give you 2, 3 seconds. Tuk, 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 tuk. Time's up. What I meant by that is that I was actually reading that this car, believe it or not, even though Range Rover is quite popular in North America as a luxury SUV, from 1970 all the way down to 1987, the Range Rover was not officially sold in America, but they were quite popular in the gray market, import channels. Now, Range Rover noticed that these cars were getting popular. They started importing them to the US in March of 1987 until 1993. And why is that? Because this model right here lasted from 19, let's see, I'm going to tell you right now so you know. This is the first generation. The first generation lasted from 1970 to 1994. But starting 87 until 1994, that's when it was actually sold in US. Before then, it wasn't. Now, luxury. I don't think I have to explain that much. If you're familiar with Range Rover, you know it's the most luxurious SUV, at least mainstream model SUV that comes out of the UK. And even though the very first generation was the least luxurious because they was just starting up as a SUV, this is actually the very first generation of the or how you call it, the SUV, the Range Rover. I'm sorry, I blanked out for a moment. Now, this model, it was built as a three-door, like the one that we're looking at right now, and also as a five-door 4x4. This very first generation was, like I said before, was the least luxurious, but then little by little, nowadays, Range Rover is a real luxury model. Engines. Let's talk about engines that came out with this first generation. They had a 3.5, a 3.9, and a 4.2. All of these were 8 cylinders engine. Now there's in the diesels, you had a 2.4, a 2.5, and also a 2.5 turbo diesel engines. Okay. Now I gotta tell you, I'm seeing the evolution. I remember the story in this car. I see the evolution, but the evolution of this car from 1970 till 1994 is not that big. If you want to know, I mean, if you Google it and you see the pictures, this is the very first year. The front end looks almost identical. Obviously, some touches here and there. The wheels are different from back in the days. The colors, obviously, more modernized, but it's not a big difference that you may say, wow, that's a big improvement from one to another. Nothing out of the blue, nothing that will take your breath away. I mean, in the changes department. So if you didn't like this 1970, you may not like the one sold in 1992 or 93 because it's very similar in the shape. All right, everyone. I'm gonna let this luxury European car go around a few times, and I'll be right back. All right, everyone. One thing I'm gonna say about Range Rover, it may not be the most reliable. We know that by far. It's nothing new, nothing that if you're quite familiar with the brand, they're very expensive to fix. Parts are not that, easy to find unless you get them off the dealer. And once it starts breaking, you should reconsider no thinking about the value of the car, if it's worth it, or if you're really attached to it. That's for the newer ones. I know these right here example is already a classic. This car is already about 55 years old. You know, it's not like you're gonna find 10 of them in 3 blocks. You don't even find 10 of them in the new models, but you get what I'm saying. It's not a car that you're gonna find everywhere. So if you have one or two, or you see and they're not in the best shape, don't junk them. Fix them. They're not going to be reproduced. The less, the worst. Okay, after saying all that, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this Range Rover. Did you like them? Was it your type of car SUV? Back in 1970, 71, 72, and the 70s altogether, SUVs were not that popular. Were very little popularity. I mean, remember, the 70s and the 60s, these were station wagons era. Wagons everywhere. Every example from Europe, from the US, almost every brand made a wagon. And I'm sure in other parts of the world too. But going back to these cars, what do you guys think about them? Did you like them? Do you still see them on the road? Were they reliable in your country? Are they still reliable, or do you still see headaches on these cars everywhere? Everywhere you talk, if you talk with anyone that owns one of these Range Rovers, you let me know the stories. I would love to find out more what you guys think. And don't forget to give me that beautiful thumbs up. Thank you so much. And don't forget to click and subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button that will remind you when I'm posting more videos. Take care of yourselves, as I always say, more than ever. And goodbye.